being joined now by Aniete Onyime, and shortly we would be joined by Don Pedro Okoje from London. He'll be joining to give his insight into how the continent should be better moving forward. Aniete, thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you very much, Joy. I'm glad to be here this morning. It is still a Razep Africa show.
Absolutely.
On Razep Media on Global TV, and it's a very wonderful morning. Joy, we're talking about diasporans. And I think I have a whole lot of questions to ask when we get to
I'm not sure why you're telling me that, because I am not a diasporan. I am very African, very African. However, it was good to see that, and that's the problem I have. It was good to see that Nigeria had made an effort also after the backlash that they got from Nigerians to say, protect your citizens abroad. Yeah. But look at the narrative there came from. Oh, their citizens, a lot of them do not have valid papers that keeps them in South Africa, and so they're afraid of legal implications of that and arrest, and so they are not coming forth. Irrespective of who your citizen is, protect your citizen first. Protect your citizen first. See, in other parts of the world, you are committing a crime, and your life is in danger. Law enforcement is wired to protect your life first before coming to, if you're coming in to say we are solving the problem of illegal migrants in South Africa, why then don't you just repatriate them? Repatriate them instead of bringing up the issues. It was quite unfortunate to see that. I said repatriate, bring them back home. And then if we need to be schooled on better ways rather, for them to migrate, the legal parts to migrate, then so be it. But it was the nuance was very, again, pointing fingers at how Nigerians didn't do the right thing, we didn't do the right thing. If roles were reversed, there's no country that will be quick to say, oh, and moreover, the people being attacked are not necessarily people who do not all have their papers complete. This is a random attack on everybody that is not South African.
Yeah, so that's just a concern, Joy. We are having persons who have even their papers, who have every legal right to stay in South Africa being attacked. And that does not, on the other hand, Joy, it does not. It does not also, bar us from putting up streets, to those who do not have their papers, that it was wrong to have gone into a country that is not yours, and then you do not have what it takes to be able to keep you to stay safe, sound and hearty in someone's land, so that it happens just like it has happened. You would have what it takes to be able to say, I came here rightfully and I have to return to my country rightfully. You do not have the right to be able to. So for those who do not have the papers, it is unfortunate that they will not have the onions to be able to stand up to speak up, rightly the way they're supposed to, because they are not they did not have what it took to be able to take them to where they were supposed to be. But on the whole, I think I'm very appreciative that gradually the Nigerian government is trying to see how to make sure that we get this one thing correctly by getting our people back to their homeland. And on the other hand, I think gradually we're going to be having Nigeria getting really filled, and I hope that as they return, they'll also try everything possible to make sure that they become Nigerians the Nigerian way.
Well, the beautiful thing about this is how hospitable Nigerians are. Nigerians are not quick to, want to pay back. Because we've heard a lot of decent voices. Some people telling you how they're going to boycott South African-owned entities here in the country. But a lot of us are like, live and let's live. Live and let's live. It is not that important. Yes, however, it's time for the African Union to have initiatives that bring us more together than divide us. We need to have more initiatives where young people come together for these reasons. It is really unfortunate that we are having young people. I saw a video. I don't know if the producer can pull it up. I saw a video where South Africans had a meeting with Indians, Asians, really, the Asian community doing business in South Africa, not to also drum down on that need for you are taking our jobs and all of that. They brought them together in some round table to give them an ultimatum not to employ anybody that isn't South African.
And it's quite unfortunate that we're having this. Joy, I've really been thinking why we are gradually getting separated. Recall that the last time we had a discussion about this, we talked about the way Africa is supposed to be one, but unfortunately, a lot of little things are actually tearing us apart, where we are now even getting more used to the Western world than the persons we are supposed to call brothers. So when we have such a video come up where we see people sit down to even have some tete-a-tete with those who are of the Western world as against us who are supposed to come together. And I remember the words of P.L.O. Lumumba, who said that someday, if we are not careful, Africa will not be great. And he, in his words, clearly said that if we are not careful, we will not have an Africa we will call our own. And it's gradually, maybe in one way or the other, getting to that point where we will not, again, in his words, have an Africa that we can call our own. And it's quite unfortunate because the way we are seeing things going, if Nigeria decides to also get up to say, let South Africans go back, and then maybe Ghanaians will now decide to join Nigeria to say, let South Africans go back. And then Ghanaians will also tell Nigerians to go back. Gradually, we would see everyone trying to, but at the end of the day, we'll realize that we cannot exist in isolation. And because we cannot exist in isolation, then we have to come together as Africans to make sure that Africa work as Africa. And I think that is just my major concern, where we can see how to employ peace again in this part of the world where we call Africa. And maybe that's why we had to bring up this
Absolutely.
Africa. So
anyway, well, we will still go for another very short break. When we come back from that break, it will be time to have that conversation with Don Pedro Okoje, who's standing by to have the more broader conversation, especially because he'll be joining us from London. Stay with us, we'll be right back shortly.
Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Here.
Hello there, thank you so much for joining us. Today we take a journey beyond the continent into the lived realities of Africans in diaspora, from opportunities to identities, from influence to responsibility. The diaspora remains a powerful extension of Africa's voice on the global stage. But that story is not without tensions, from recurring xenophobic attacks in South Africa's targeting fellow Africans to the evolving role of diaspora voices in shaping narratives around governance, democracy, and development. Back home, especially in Nigeria, questions are being asked about belonging, protection, and purpose. At the same time, the media, both traditional and digital, is redefining how these stories are told, amplified, and understood. Joining us today, this morning, is a respected media expert, public affairs analyst, and a strong voice within the African diaspora community. Joining us from London, Don Pedro Okoje will be exploring diaspora experiences, media influence, xenophobia, and Nigeria's political trajectory, connecting the dots between Africa and its global citizens. Many thanks for joining us, Don Pedro. So good to see you.
Thank you for having me, Lady Joy.
How's London this morning?
Well, we are lucky to have about 13 degrees, which is so good. Not good enough, but at least for the weather. And we hope there will be no wind for the cold to come back, but so far so good. Today is beautiful, it's brilliant.
I will start by, what do you think, what came to mind when you heard about the stories of how Nigerians and other Africans were treated in South Africa or are being treated? There's a serious protest, widely attended. That protest gave me a shocker to think of the number of South Africans who do not believe that black migrants should be in their country. What came to mind?
I think, first of all, ignorance played a lot of role here, because you would not even believe that a South Africa one day would not want to see Nigerians in their country. I'm saying it because of the role Nigeria played during the apartheid regime in South Africa, how our government gave millions of dollars, gave ammunition, and then gave scholarships to a lot of their elders to come and study in Nigeria. You know, a lot of them studied in University of Lagos, Calabar, and Ibadan, lived in Nigeria under full scholarship. And so we have been their brothers for a long time coming. But that's why I say ignorance, because majority of those who are protesting today don't even know the history between Nigeria and South Africa. They don't know a hint of it. Because if they do, they will not go to this extent. But anyway, apart from the ignorance, you know, countries are always not very receptive to progressive immigrants. Nigerians all over the world, I'm not saying the totality of Nigerians, but majority of Nigerians all over the world are very, not just economic immigrants, they're intellectual immigrants, they're medical immigrants, and they're also business-oriented immigrants. We go to anywhere and make the best for ourselves and our host. That is the Nigerian mentality. I am not buying into the idea of saying, oh, well, because Nigeria is not good or the government has not done this and that. That has nothing to do with this at all. This is just ignorance on the part of those South Africans who think that they can just edge out. It's not only Nigerians anyway, they are also attacking Zimbabweans and Kenyans. I mean, tell me, Kenyans speak Zulu like them, but they're against Kenyans. They're against anyone who is not South African. But tell me, how many of them can do what those immigrants are doing there? The Nigerians in South Africa, I can tell you, they are hard-working people, hard-working. They bulldoze their way through whatever they can find themselves in, the job, or create their own opportunities.
On how he finds interesting, because he's right. Everywhere Nigerians go, you see how economically viable they are. We'll keep trying to get that connection right, but I would like us to also address the pertinent issues here. There are two issues that was raised as the reason for this protest against Nigerians and others. Crime. It was mentioned that Nigerians and other black migrants, especially those that are undocumented, come to the country and commit a lot of crime, and it's making what's it called now, the country not governed. Okay, so Don Pedro, I mean, I would like you to address the issues behind these xenophobic attacks that we are recording right there. We're hearing about the crime, the criminality, which is, according to those protesting, is a reason why they want undocumented migrants out of their country, and also the fact that they are taking their jobs. Although, if you follow the stories, you'll see that more than any other thing, they insist that black migrants are coming into South Africa and taking their jobs. What does that even mean when you get into the nitty-gritty of things?
Ignorance. Again, ignorance. For example, Nigerians are very well known of embracing education. There is no average Nigerian who doesn't have a secondary school certificate. When I mean certificate is they have been to elementary school and finished. Minimum gone to secondary school. And Nigerians embrace university degrees like a primary school certificate now. Now, you see, if they don't educate themselves and upgrade themselves, well, there's no ignorance about Nigerians or any of the black African country nationals who are there not to do what the economy entails. For example, there are jobs they cannot get, not because they cannot really get it, but they're not qualified for it. So what do you want the employee of such job to do? The employer cannot do anything if the employee is not qualified. And then Nigerians are qualified, and then you say they're taking your job. They're not taking your jobs. Your jobs have been there. If you were qualified, they will give it to you. You see, it is just strange when you talk about criminality. There is no country in the world that you don't have criminal activities, be it drugs peddling or robbery or whatever it is. Every country in the world, including Nigeria, if they say that is their main reason, why is it not their police and their own drug agency like the Nigerian NDLA and all that? Why are they not the one prosecuting or documenting? Even the immigration officials, who are they as a mob to be asking people to bring their ID? That's very stupid. They have no rights to ask for an ID because they are not the government, they are not the law. South Africa has one of the best legal systems in Africa. And I'm shocked that their police, the immigration officials and all that have not come out to really address this and even go after these people and stop them. Many of the videos that I have seen as well, it's such a shame that for a long time they are chasing one young man or the other one around the street, beat him up, beat him like as if he's a criminal already. You know, jungle justice on their own street. So they have nothing to hold against any of these Africans they are against. The only problem they have is ignorance. And I think their government should wake up so that they don't have a worse situation in their hands, you know, because Zimbabwe, Kenya, they have a lot of South Africans that lives there. If the reverse becomes the case, well, you know what could happen. So it is not about of course there are Nigerians who do criminal activities there. I cannot deny for that.
Yeah, you cannot criminalize the especially for Nigerians, that question of what are our young people running from? I also have South African friends here in Nigeria. We are the most hospitable people. Before you came on this conversation, I was having a conversation with a colleague here where we talked about how hospitable we are. While we hear a lot of some individuals within the country also talking about boycotting South African entities, the rest of us are like, leave and let leave, you know, without that need to go tit for tat. But what are we running from in Nigeria? The young energies and in talent are leaving, perceiving any other place as the country with the green land, rather than many opportunities in our country. How do we change that mindset so that we don't have young people living in the most dangerous part? They are in South Africa, like the Nigerian said, that a lot of them do not even have documents. They have expired visas. How do we get Nigerians to love Nigeria, to build Nigeria, and accept that saying where he said, go and build your own country? It hit home for me.
Well, Joy, first, I don't want to agree with you that there's a mindset among the young people to want to leave Nigeria. That's not correct. It is normal, very normal, when you are growing up as a young, like myself, I was a young lad when I made my way to the US. I wasn't craving to leave Nigeria to the US. In my time, we were not having all these visa issues that they have. I mean, you must always have to get a visa anyway. But if you are craving to do that, if you want to travel, then you work hard to make sure you get maybe an admission or one thing or the other. So, first of all, what I'm trying to say is this. There is no Bible or Quran that says that young people should not aspire. Your aspiration must not always be only in your country. You can go out and test your values. You can go out and get more educated. You can go out also and mingle with other nationals. That's why they say traveling is experience. You meet other people you have never met before. You've lived as neighbors and friends, go to school together and all that. That's experience that we are bringing home to Nigeria. These young people in Nigeria, they should dream of going out. Why not? That's a very good thing to do. You can all remain in Nigeria. And how many percent are even traveling anyway? How many percent? So it is nothing wrong at all to aspire to travel out of Nigeria. It's a good thing to do.
A couple of days ago, we had, for a couple of weeks now, we've been hearing Africans also talking about being sent to front lines when they go to Russia. You know, and I know, and everyone knows that Russia has been a volatile country because of the Russian-Ukrainian crisis. However, in spite of all of that, they are able to still recruit Africans to Russia. And of course, when they go there, they are sent to the front lines. I need you to also address that need to leave Nigeria. It's a healthy need to explore the world, to live in other countries of the world. However, we are seeing a desperation that is almost dangerous. When they now leave and get to Russia and they are now sent to the front lines, they are seeing their counterparts die, it occurs to them that they should return back home. And then and only then do you hear them say, "Oh, there's nothing as good as home. I have to return home. I was better off in my country." But that desperation is what is really concerning at the moment. And we're also seeing not just South Africa. Simultaneously, I found it double standards when I saw the Ghanaian government call on South Africa to say, question them about the attack on Ghanaians in South Africa. But simultaneously, we're also recording a certain group in Ghana that's brewing, and Nigerians and Africans are watching, saying, "Don't sell lands to Nigerians any longer. You're selling Ghana to Nigeria." What does it say about the collective unity that we push for within Africa? What does it say about that desperation from young people to just leave Africa, to leave their countries to the other parts of the continent?
Well, first of all, let me, I will take the last part, which is the Ghana one, then before I talk about Russia and all that. Nigerians, we are very exceptional when it comes to acquiring anything anywhere we go. I have a land in Ghana. I have a land in Accra. I love to have the land. That's why I have it. And I paid for it.
The people Ghanaians are asking not to sell lands to.
No, there's nothing they can do about that. I have my papers. They cannot do anything about that. And many Nigerians have properties in Ghana. Very many. You see, one thing about Nigeria, though, is that we are very, very open to our neighbors as well when we are in their country. A Nigerian does not go against his hosts. Trust me for that. We don't. But we are very diligent with our work. And then when you are working hard and you are making the money, people are jealous. But they are bound to be jealous, though. Because they don't even know how you are making the money, because they are not working as hard as you are. That's just the problem. They're just jealous and ignorant. If they work like you, they will want to acquire more than you because they are citizens of their country. But no, they would not. Anyway, that apart, it's a long time that Ghanaians are always against Nigerians. We have seen it in many times that even Nigerians too, when we were having our economic meltdown years ago, of course, that's brought about the bag called Ghana Must Go Today, when we asked the undocumented Ghanaians to leave. Now, you see that when it was the Nigerian turn, our immigration officials were the ones who frontlined what the government, because the government gave a deadline of, I think, 90 days or 120 days, 3 months or something like that, to undocumented Ghanaians to document and straighten up themselves by getting the right visas and all that, which a lot of them didn't do. It is not because Nigerians wanted Ghana to leave. No. It was just that undocumented Ghanaians were told to leave. And it was our immigration. Nigerians did not mount the street to be looking for Ghanaians in anywhere, to be hitting them or anything. No, it never happened. They were provided by buses, which they used. Buses. I remember one of my teachers, we had to carry his things into the bus the day they were leaving. And we were crying because we love him. One guy called Kwame, I don't know where he is today. So when it comes to the Nigerian part, not because I'm a Nigerian, I will vouch that we don't just attack our neighbors. We don't. That's why you see that this insurgency and terrorism happening in Nigeria is strange to us. We are not used to that. It's not a Nigerian thing at all. I believe that is an external force that is trying to destabilize the country. It's not a Nigerian thing. Is there anywhere in Nigeria you don't find other part of, we, from the south of Nigeria, the north of Nigeria, we are interweaving. In my hometown, for example, in Edo State, we have the Hausas, the Igbos, the Yorubas, and all. We live side by side. So when you talk about those, as it's spreading to Ghana, like I just said to you, it is the ignorant ones. You saw the president now, President Mahama. He came out to say that they must not attack a Nigerian because that's officially is the immigration that should do that. For the Russians, the Nigerians who are going there and they get themselves into war, it's greed. Simple. It's greed. Those Nigerian youths who go to Russia and who get involved in the war, whatever, they knew the danger of what was there, even though they have not seen the danger. They knew. The first thing they considered was, will I be paid? They paid in dollars. That is the first thing they considered. They never thought about the consequences of what their action was going to be. Like you have just said, when they now saw it was war,
you and I
he could
keep
die.
talking about how spiritual Nigerians are. I bet you very often when you tell them, yes, come to Ghana, they claim they are coerced to come work as in farms, as cooks, as security guards. However, it is a war zone that you have accepted to go to. Now, the question is it that over spiritualization that's happening to us where you say, you know what, yes, come to Russia, yes, the blood of Jesus would make sure nothing happens to me. It may have happened to every other person. We are very positive people, but are we taking it so far that it is now affecting us negatively? Because where people will run, Nigerians will go, young people will believe they are spiritual beings for some reason.
Well, I don't believe in spirituality. I don't believe it is because I have hello. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Very well, I can hear you and see you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I don't believe is that it is the spirituality and they said blood of Jesus, but blood of Jesus is strong anyway. So, but what I'm saying is, let's bring it down. Let's not go into the spiritual realm because it's a long, big, different topic from what you're saying now. Let's bring it to the normal, average Nigerian, the real Nigerian like me and you. The ones who fall into those category of running to Russia and then getting into trouble is just greed. Is greed. They just know, they are only told about how much they can make, how much, and then they will calculate, oh, if it's going to earn $2,000 a month, hey, that's about $12,000 in a year. $24,000 in 2 years. That's his mindset. That's what he's looking at. He's not thinking of any consequences, And of course, let us also be clear here. It is a very small percentage of Nigerians that took that chance. Very small. Very, very small. They're not even up to 1% of the Nigerians that have gone out. They're not. Not at all. And it's not only Nigerians that are being coaxed into that. Other African countries too are involved. Of course, they are involved as well. So it is, for the spirituality side, well, Nigeria is a spiritual country. Whether you're a Muslim or a Christian, we believe a lot in that, the Almighty Father will come and cover us no matter what. But like I always say, cross the express and tell God to protect you. Just close your eye, close the express. So let's not bring that foolishness into the main greed of their own natural, their own greed. Is their guilt. That's their own guilt. That's their greed. It's because they want to just make money overnight. We are not an overnight country, Nigerians, to be honest. That's why we still have farmers. We still have apprentices in Nigeria. Of course, we believe in those hierarchy. I will not take away this modern Gen Z, Yahoo Plus and all that, syndrome that has flooded everywhere. It's a syndrome of making money quick and overnight, which any reasonable young man will know is not possible. It's not feasible. You know, you take somebody's life and then you will now make money. How can that be possible? That's stupid. Because if you take a life, you take your own life too.
I agree with you, Don Pedro. However,
it is because of
would you say that Africans in diaspora are doing enough to reshape the image of the African continent? Because we are also not seeing this within Africa. I mean, we've spoken about South Africa. However, we are seeing stiffer migration policies against Nigerians, against other African countries. And it's almost as if, I mean, you said earlier there that Africans and Nigerians are often the best, they are economically viable, they always contribute to their host countries. Why then is the negative part of it so overcrowded in the media, so much so that it doesn't show the innovations and the many beautiful things that Africans are doing in diaspora? So are you doing enough as an African in diaspora and your colleagues in diaspora in reshaping the image of Africa and what must be done so that these stiff penalties against Africans, almost as if they are such a nuisance, very irritating for some of us? But what do you think?
Well, I think we are not in diaspora to really portray the good image of our continent. I agree with that. We are not doing enough. But then you find out that I mean, you are in the news now. I'm in the news as well. I mean, in the media, we know that bad news is good news, you know, and bad news travel faster than the good news. So you get to hear about the badness fast before the good ones. But there are loads upon loads of good ones. Look, in the civil service of England, in the civil service, you cannot take away the Nigerians who work in that civil service and other African countries. I have got letters from the council, from the municipality, and the person who is signing is, you see, Ojo, or you see Ikanem, and you see names that you say, hey, come on, this is a Nigerian guy. You know, they're everywhere. I mean, is it the hospital? You are sitting in the surgery waiting for your turn to see your doctor, and then they just your name pops up to say, Mr. Pedro Kode to see Dr. Adewale. And you're like, wow, okay. And then when you go in, it's like, my brother, how are you? I saw your name. So how are we doing today? How can I help you and things? That's a Nigerian doctor excelling in a different country. It's not only that, even bus driving. Nigerians are there. Now, what I'm trying to say is this. We have so much of ignorance peddling the negative story more than the positive story. I think me and other colleagues, like we have said, we should do more about the positive news about the Nigerians and the other Africans who are here in diaspora. I agree with that. We have not done enough. We haven't. I'm guilty as well, you know, in the sense that I have not bothered to even, I mean, this is a home call, what you have just, that question, a home call to me as well, that we should really look into that and try to portray that angle. The narrative about the negative part, you cannot stop it because, like I said, bad story is good story. We like bad stories as in the media. Because the moment you just say a negative thing, it goes far. And when you are saying a positive thing, it takes time before people even accept it. You know? So yeah, we'll get there. We should get there.
We're running out of time. And in one, I would like you to just respond to this question here. Looking forward, what would you say should be done immediately? You know, to engaging our young people, getting them to even understand how they can even travel legitimately and be documented and not fall into these kind of issues, and the rescue effort. I'm sure you also saw how slow it took Nigeria to even respond, to question out South Africa on there are people who were being killed, and even the response, a lot of us saw it as rhetoric. It was not backed by action. So moving forward, so that Nigerians are protected anywhere in the world, what's your last thoughts to the African government and by extension Nigeria?
The Minister for I don't know what their names are, but I think Minister for Education, Social Welfare, the Minister for Internal Affairs, they think they are doing a fantastic job, but for me, they are not doing anything wonderful or anything fantastic at all. They are sleeping. They are sleeping. Rather, I think they are pursuing more naira for their pockets. Why are they not using all these Nigerian bloggers? Why? Look at how many Nigerian newspapers are online. Look at how many Nigerians do funny, different type of blogs every day. Why are they not using that medium to talk to the youths, to talk to the people? They think that those Nigerians who are doing those scenes, they don't have the means to help them to spread the positive image of Nigeria or the things that are expected of them. They should talk to the youths. And the only way you can talk to the youths is to use these people because they are young people too. You are sitting there in your office and you're doing a big press conference for who? I don't understand what's wrong, what's going on in that area. What are they doing? Where's their publicity? There used to be a time you will open the television in Nigeria and you see a positive 1 minute or 2 minutes comedy about something in Nigeria. Newspapers, they had cartoons and all that. They're not educated. Are they doing town hall meetings? Are they doing school meetings? Are they doing it? I don't accept that our youths cannot change or they cannot. You need to feed them with this information because our youths are not the youths of before. They are very educated youths now, very transparent and very energetic. They want to know, they want to try, they want to move. You need to tell them why they should do this or that. Then they will decide for themselves because they are very, like I said, they're smart, intellectual, all of them. I'm serious. Even the ones who are doing Yahoo are not. Is it easy to do Yahoo? Is it easy? Is it easy to do those things? Is it easy to convince somebody to part with their own money, even under pretense? It's not. But our ministers in those areas who should have harnessed the youths and tried to send this conversation to them, they are sitting in their big, large offices drinking whiskey or champagne or whatever they are doing there, and they are not doing nothing. Look at the response to South Africa. When did we respond at all? Can you imagine all the evacuations that have happened in the different parts of the world when Nigerians were being kicked out? Air Peace, a private airline company, had to go and take Nigerians back to their country free of charge when we have a federal government full of ministers of nonsense, you know? So we just have people who have been given positions.
Thank you
who are
so
sleeping
much.
on it.
We really have run out of time and we have to run. You have so much to contribute to this conversation. So intermittently, we would bring you on air to discuss more. But this is where we end today's edition. Don Pedro Okoje, CEO, Don Pedro Media. Thank you so much for being part of this. I hope the weather gets better in London. Thank you. Today, until we come your way next time, do have yourself a wonderful rest of the day. I am Joy Asaye.